Hello, welcome back. I know it's been a long time, but we are going to get caught back up with a few projects on the UFO list. And one of them that I'm going to start with is my embroidery garden journal. And we're going to go with May, which is the last entry that I created in 2024. But we are going to catch up here in 2025. Hi everyone, it's Janice from Le Rue de Fleurs. Welcome back into the studio today. I am trying to catch up on my May 2024 garden embroidery, and I hate to admit how many months I ended up skipping, but I just get lost, I think, in these yearly projects, even though I have like the best of intentions. Once I get really busy with school in April, and then by the time I get to May, I'm finishing everything up. It's the end of the school year for my kids. All of this summer things happen and I just fell off. But I am getting back into it, and I am inspired by irises this month, which I didn't even get a good picture of them, so I'm so far behind. So I'm going to use this picture from Pinterest, but it is like very close to the one I actually have in my garden. So I'm just gonna go with that and do an iris. And I'm going to be inspired by Tatreez embroidery, which, if you're not familiar with that, it is a type of Middle Eastern embroidery based with cross stitches and then patterns. And whenever I'm on the education team at the Susquehanna Art Museum in Harrisburg, and we do quarterly programming with a local charter school there, where I go into the classroom and I teach them about an art concept. So that for this particular quarter, we did cross stitch and stitching and learning about how to sew a little bit, which is obviously my specialty. So that was super, super fun. And then they come to the museum and they view the exhibit, and then they do a higher level project based off of what they see and the tour that they get from the education manager at the museum. So we did Tatreez, and it has all kinds of symbolism behind the different stitches, and it was called There by Justin Nasser, or Jordan Nasser, and you can go. I'm not sure. I think the exhibit, I'm sure, is done by now. But you could probably go look up There by Jordan Nasser if you wanted to find the exhibit and where it is next. They get traveling exhibits, so it's probably somewhere else now. But it was really inspirational and gorgeous to look at, and I really had a wonderful time with it. So I wanted to use that inspiration and do some cross stitching, which I know is a little different than the freehand style stuff that we've been doing, but I think it'll fit in really nicely here and maybe be a good balance to my March like couching. So we're gonna make an iris and then fill it in with little cross stitches, sort of expressing that style, like loosely. You know, I'm not really gonna infuse it with as much meaning. I'm just gonna use it. I'm gonna use the cypress stitch to do the standards and possibly the falls. And then I'm going to use some of like the zigzag stitching to do maybe a leaf. I'm not sure, because it's really, the wedges aren't that big. So I have to sketch it out and see what can fit in there first. But that is what I'm basing it on. And of course I'll have a blog post that has a little bit of additional pictures and details up close as I work, but I just wanted to show you what I'm going to get started with. And then I will come through and put some kind of divider, because I liked having these little month dividers that kind of look like sticks or branches. I need to fill in between July and August, but I'm hoping to do this one for May, and then we'll have to do June, and then I'll be caught up for the end of the summer, which will be really fun because my son graduated high school and he's moving away to college. So we live in central Pennsylvania, and he's moving to Pittsburgh, which is on the one side. So it's about 4 hours. I'm pretty sad about it. So if everything seems a little bit more casual and yeah, just like a little bit more jumbled around, that's because I am, just going through a transition in my life. I'm trying to stay on top of this and working more so I can pay for college, and that's a lot of stuff. So I'm sure that you've all been there at like life transition points where you want to be committed to the things that you're committed to, but also you just have some things in your life that are kind of outside of your control and that you're trying to enjoy. Like, I'm just trying to enjoy spending time at home with my son as much as he'll allow me, because he's like, he's 17, he's on the verge of adulthood here, and he's ready to move away. Anyway, I've got really off topic, but so I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna sketch out a little plan like we do each month, and try to work on the cross stitches over the next few days. So this will probably go up, I don't know, I hope within a week. I hope I can get it done pretty quickly and get something out there. I know it's been a little while, but again, now you understand a little bit why. I also just finished a residency, had a little vacation. I'm getting ready to go on a family vacation. Just lots of stuff, lots of like life stuff, all really good, really fun, very positive things, but prevents me from staying on schedule. But anyways, let's get going. So I'm going to flip you around and we'll do some sketching. So I am beginning, as I always do, by using sort of a very light pencil sketch on my fabric here, and I am looking, as you can see on off screen, is the picture of the iris that I am using to sort of get my visual, since I do not have a fresh flower this time, since I am working from behind. But I'm kind of like lightly drawing out the shape of the petal, kind of keeping in mind that I want to use the cross stitch and the Tatreez style, so it will be ending up a little blocky. Then I used my Omnigrid ruler to create some very thin little lines to help guide my stitching. Now, in the end, I couldn't see these very well, so I probably could have skipped this process. I just tried to keep them relatively the same height and the same distance, but I will tell you, in the end, so not all of my stitches line up properly, and it is really hard to do cross stitch on a non-gridded piece of cloth. So here I am kind of drawing the grid. I wish I had a better way to mark my fabric. It would have helped a lot, but I can very lightly see. Next, I'm choosing the colors. Again, I'm referencing that picture on my screen and also my memory of what my irises look like. They were just out here a couple months ago, and I'm doing this in mid-June now to get caught up, but they are like purple and a light violet color. Sometimes they're a little bit of a rusty pink, so I change out and get a little bit of that color in there as well. For my blades of the leaves and the stem, I am using a combination of like a really dark sage, like army green color, and the like a lighter sage. And I'm just beginning at the bottom, and I'm going to make some very geometric shaped leaves here. Everything with the cross stitch ends up being pretty blocky, as I'm sure you can imagine it would. Because you're not going to have those curves and gentle edges the way that you see in a lot of my other embroidery. But again, kind of like whenever I did the couching in March with my daffodil, I kind of like the experiment of representing the flower but not in an organic shape. It's kind of a different take on it, I think. And again, the point of the Embroidery Garden Journal, if you'll remember all the way back with me, is to try different things and experiment with different ways to represent something through stitching. So if I just do the same stitches over and over again, that's not very experimental. And this time, like I mentioned in the intro, I am inspired by the Tatreez cross-stitch embroidery that I was talking about in my classroom work all of May. And, all of those designs are somehow organic, but also very blocky. So it's kind of interesting take on trying to create some kind of organic representation of nature through a stitch style that is meant to be very blocky.
and all these little X's are more like pixelated look to whatever you're working on. So I am combining, as often the Tatreez did, multiple different colors in a more geometric layout. And here I'm just working, again, like I said, on that blade to build it up. Once I finished the blade of my leaf to my satisfaction, I'm working on the little beard part of my iris. Usually mine are like this really bright golden yellow color. So I made sort of a wonky diamond. Again, like I said, I tried to have this purple and that purple. It just seems like so much purple. So I might either go with this like raspberry color, which I know isn't exactly correct for my inspiration picture, but I really don't want it to be too many similar colors together, so I might go with this instead. I'm not sure what to do right now. I'm gonna have a think on it and take the dog for a walk, but I don't want just to be all the same colors in one spot. You know what I mean? So I did finally decide to go with a light lavender for the fall, and then rim it with a really dark purple. I felt like that sort of helped get across the idea of them being two-toned in appearance, as well as sort of roughly, by having something that could kind of represent the ruffle aspect going around the outside. So I'm just trying to create a little bit of the cypress, or like an upside down cypress sort of triangular look, and they had a border around the outside with these darker stitches, it looked like, in stacks of two. So that's what I went with for my fall, and I really do like the way this turned out. It does look to me like a fall on an iris, and it even does have somewhat of a rounded shape, even though everything is really blocky if you're looking at it here. So once I got that all filled in, I really do like that. I tried to do the standards here, and I wanted to make two standards because usually there's more petals on the top of the iris than the falls, or that's what they like visually look like. There's more weight of petals on the top than on the bottom, in my opinion. So I wanted to do two here, and this is the part where I felt like I counted, but I didn't really line stuff up very well. So it starts to fall apart in a couple more steps, and you'll see that. I think I might be noticing right now, like, what am I going to do? I felt a little lost, and honestly, I feel like it turns out that it looks like I felt a little lost working on this. So it might have been better to have more of a concrete plan or to sketch something out, but I just didn't. This is a sketchbook sort of idea here. So sort of just trying ideas and experimenting and working on it is the point of the Embroidery Garden Journal, as well as just practicing different stitches, like I mentioned before. So you can see how my one petal is like a lot wider. And right now I'm trying to think, like, how can I make these look more balanced? I left open some spaces because I did want to add in the lighter value of this like raspberry. So I used sort of like a very pale mauve in the center. But they are not even. They do not end up even. I cannot get them even. I could have pulled everything out and started over, but I just really don't want to, didn't have time to do that. So I just kind of went with it. And to me, I'm like, things in nature aren't always perfectly symmetrical. They're not always perfectly even. Or you could look at this and think, oh, maybe one of the standards is twisted, and that's why it has a little bit of a different shape and a different setting of the color value there. So whatever, use your imagination, whatever you want the reason to be. I just didn't want to pick it out. Finally, I'm creating my title, and it's just May. I'm doing it the same way that I do it each time, which is try to line the letters up about centered. And I am just using the leftover raspberry here, which is so crazy because it felt like I had a lot left to do my letters, but I run out with just like one part of the M left, and I just end up using something that's pretty close. So I was completely out of this color on the skein, so I just went with something that looked very, very similar. And I don't care, again, that it isn't perfect, because it doesn't really matter. This is just for me, for practice, for fun, for ideas, and I just didn't want to stress about it, honestly. I just don't have time for that. So I got it done. It looks good. And there you see it. You might be able to tell a little bit of different color. Here I'm going in and filling in those center parts of my standards with this very light mauve color. And I do end up liking it enough. Not all of my cross stitches line up, which is super annoying if I'm gonna be honest about it. But again, like, it was really hard to see the grid. There was no grid. So I think for the fact that I just kind of had to eyeball each stitch and try to keep it in line, I was really happy with it. It is annoying that not everything perfectly lined up if you look at it really close, but overall the effect is good. I think it gets the point across. You can tell that it's an iris. And yeah, to me, I think it represents something about May where you just like try your best to make things turn out the way that you want. And, that's just sometimes a battle you're not going to win. I don't know. Anyway, it is a complete part of the project. Here it is, May. Now I'm only missing June until we get to the end of the summer. So I'm really happy to get all caught up. Thank you so much for joining me today, friends. I hope that you felt inspired to get back into stitching, or a project that maybe you have forgotten about for a little while. It's never too late. We can always just jump back in. So thank you again for joining me. Please like and subscribe for more. I plan to try to get June done soon. Bye-bye.